All right, everybody, welcome to JCLive, your weekly source for JCL news and fun. I'm your host, Mr. Kurt Ristroff, Publications Chair for the National Junior Classical League, an organization of middle and high school students in classical courses. Nailed the intro, even though we haven't said it in a couple of weeks. There we go. With me today are two very special guests. We have Anya Aitsalia and Maxine Mant, the president and vice president of Florida JCL. How are y'all doing?
Great. How are you?
Good. Maxine, how about you?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you? Oh, she already asked how you are.
I'm still good. It's so good to have y'all on. Thanks so much for joining us. No sound. Why? Dennis says there's no sound. Why is there no sound? Hang on. We might just have to do that all over again. Can the rest of y'all hear us? Because there is sound. Okay, Mr. Webb didn't have sound, it was maybe on his end. All right, great. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much again for being on. We are here to talk about Florida JCL, which is the largest JCL state chapter as of last year. I pulled up the stats. Florida, didn't mean to do that. Made y'all invisible for a second. Last year, Florida had 3,226 JCLers. So y'all are in charge of an absolutely massive organization. The runners-up, by the way, were Virginia at 3,120 JCLers. So Florida, mea culpa. Second place was Texas at 3,171. So they had 51 more than Virginia. But y'all had 55 more than Texas. Never do math on stream, it's very dangerous, but y'all had about 55 plus or minus 10 JCLers than Texas last year, the largest JCL chapter. So we're going to talk about what it's like running such a massive organization, and Florida JCL is obviously run very well, so we'll talk all about that. Before we get started, did y'all have a good Christmas?
Yes.
Did you do anything fun in particular?
I was home for the first time in a couple years, so that was very nice.
Maxine, how about you?
Yeah, I also stayed home for Christmas for the first time in a couple of years, but it was still nice. It was nice to spend it with family and to be able to also be with my dog.
Oh, you have a dog. Will he or she make an appearance on the show tonight?
If you can hear him barking downstairs, then maybe. Okay.
Yeah, I can actually, just faintly in the background. And I'm, Chad, I'm leaving it up to y'all to tell me if the audio levels are okay. I've got some music playing in the background. If it's too loud and I need to turn it down, let me know. If I need to turn our guests up or turn myself down or anything, let me know. Before we start talking in depth about Florida, I've got a couple of announcements for everybody. It has been a couple of weeks since we've had a truly live show. The last couple of weeks I was on vacation. Back now from vacation. It was a very good time. I hope people enjoyed the pre-recorded shows. We talked to Magistra Natalie Roy from Louisiana, who teaches a Roman STEM class. That one was popular. And then we talked a lot about Star Wars, but also about other things with Irene Calderon, who's the NJCL editor. So, let's see. Oh, good. The background music seems to be a good level. So those two shows went well. Thanks everybody again for enjoying the pre-recorded shows, and we're back. So we've got some announcements to go through. Let's see. And of course, to the guests, if y'all have anything to interject and jump in and say at any time, you're more than welcome to. Nope, that's not what I want. Yes, it is. Hang on. That's what I want. We'll use that other feature later. Here we go. Okay, announcements for the show. Join JCL. This is the announcement that we always start with. We haven't had this slide up in a couple of weeks. JCL is an amazing organization. Like we said in the intro, for middle and high school students in classical courses, there are many, many alumni out there who have benefited from JCL, the JCL experience, and can tell you all about it. It really is a unique, welcoming academic community. We're one of the largest youth academic organizations in the U.S., and there are just dozens and hundreds of people who will tell you JCL changed my life. I love JCL. I'll never forget JCL. So do consider joining if you haven't already. And in particular, if your teacher hasn't signed your club up this year, so if you're not technically a member, please remind them to do that. And there will be an opportunity for them to win snazzy prizes every month if they go ahead and sign up. The sooner you sign up, the better. And if you are personally interested in any of those snazzy prizes, or if you just want to buy JCL merchandise, you can shoot me an email and I can put you in touch with the JCL office, who can put you, make you an account in the JCL store. Let's see. It's December. It's the end of December, so Club of the Month submissions will be due soon. This month's theme was centered around dining and eating food or sharing food with others. If you have, whether you followed the theme or not, if you want to submit an entry to Club of the Month, there's a link in the description below. Subscribe to the Torch US, there's a link for that, and we had an issue come out on December 1st. It's very, very beautiful. Thanks to Irene Calderon for making that and making it such a success. So you can subscribe to the Torch using a link in the description below, and you can check out that beautiful December winter 2020 issue in the description below. Like I said, it's the end of December, so photo of the month and video of the month, aka TikTok of the month, contest entries are due at the end of the month. So there's a link in the description for submitting those. Make sure that you don't forget to do that. We said earlier that there are hundreds of JCL alumni and current students who will talk about how amazing JCL is and how they'll never forget it. If you're one of those people, I want to hear from you. Please submit your favorite JCL memory using the link in the description below, or actually, I don't think it's in the description, but here it is. Here's the bit.ly link for it, bit.ly.com or bit.ly/JCL book project. Let us know your favorite quintessential JCL memory. We're compiling a book of those, and we need as many submissions as possible. We are always needing more. So there was a semi-deadline in November where we said if you submit yours by November, you'll be entered to win swag. We haven't actually done that raffle yet. I need to get on that. But the deadline is rolling, so there's no hard deadline on this JCL memory book. The Kurtaman show that we've started, the monthly Kurtaman show, which is tentatively being called Kurtaman Tonight, airs on the first Thursday of each month. So this show, JCLive, is live every Monday, and the Kurtaman show is live once a month on Thursdays. So the next one will be on January 7th, which is next Thursday. Tell your friends. There's usually some kind of interactive something. Last time there was a Kahoot. It was a ton of fun. Mr. Dave Jackson, who's in the chat right now, you can see he was a guest on that show, so you know it's a good show. Last but not least, our upcoming shows. Next week we'll be talking Ancient Greek with Dr. Generosa Sanka-Jackson, who's the NJCL Digital Contest Chair and unofficially the most pro-Greek person in the organization. She'll be coming on to talk all about Ancient Greek, which is great because I don't know any Ancient Greek, so that'll be a nice education. The week after, we'll have another alumni panel discussion, since those seem pretty popular, from JCL to theater/cinema. So folks who have gone on from JCL and now work in those parts of the entertainment industry. That'll be a very good time. And then the week after that, on January 18th, there's going to be a JCL tabletop role-playing game. I don't know if it's actually D&D or if it's something else, but tentatively calling it JCL D&D. It's not me who's running it. It's somebody who actually knows what he's doing with this, who's going to be running a JCL D&D, and we need volunteers to play. So if you have any kind of role-playing tabletop experience, you can use the link in the description below to fill out a Google form, letting the organizers know your interest. So we're making that announcement here on JCLive for the first time. We'll later put it on Instagram for anybody who's interested, but I figured I'd give our loyal viewers the first crack at it. So go ahead and sign up for that if you are interested. Those are the announcements. Eric in the chat, it doesn't have to be a TikTok for the video of the month. It's just most likely that all of the entries are going to be TikToks. What level of experience do we need for JCL D&D? I don't know, because I'm not running it. See if you can learn more by filling out that survey. the link for which is in the description below. And that'll be a fun time. So even if you don't end up playing, it'll be fun to watch. So with that, those are all the announcements. So now we can talk about Florida. So Anya and Maxine, can y'all, let's start with you. Could you tell us a little bit about yourselves, your JCL experience so far, and how you got from when you started in JCL to where you are now?
I'll go first. So my name's Anya Itzalia, and I'm a senior at Oak Hall School in Gainesville, Florida. And I started the JCL in 7th grade, and I just was totally clueless about what the organization was. I entered pretty innocently, started playing Kurtaman, loved it, ended up running for state office freshman year, lost, ran again, and then ran again, and now I'm here. So it's been quite the journey, but I really love this organization, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
What was your state office before president?
Recording secretary.
Okay. Does that mean there's more than one kind of secretary?
We always get this question, and yes, but we actually just changed the name of recording secretary officially to secretary, but there is also a corresponding secretary who does like registration work at Fora.
Okay. Gotcha. Maxine, how about you?
All right. So everyone, my name's Maxine Matt. I am a junior at St. Stephen's Episcopal School in Bradenton, Florida. I started JCL in 7th grade as well. Also, when pretty clueless, was told that I had to do it for a double test grade in Latin class. So ended up going to regionals, state, and then nationals that year. Completely fell in love, became middle school club president afterwards, started attending high school, became club VP, applied to be a regional leader, and then just fell in love with the spirit and service aspect 100%, and then ran for VP, and here I am.
Okay, now I'm sure you also get this question a ton, but Florida, VP. A lot of JCLs have at least 2 of those. 2 VPs, I mean. So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the office of JCL Vice President is comprised of both first and second vice president. So I'm in charge of all the membership and publicity aspects, as well as all the spirit and service aspects. And it may sound like a lot of work to put on one kid, but I honestly would not trade it for the world. I get to work closely with so many amazing vice presidents all the time. I get to work with Lindy and Rheem, who are both absolutely wonderful people, and I would not trade that position for the world.
All right. I'm sure we'll talk more about the board composition and things like that. And Maxine, you don't have to mute yourself between questions if you don't want. I mean, okay. It's supposed to be free-flowing conversational, so it's not necessarily going to be Q&A. Okay, so that's a little bit about y'all, and we're here to talk about Florida. So can you give us an overview of Florida JCL for people who are not in it or from it? What does a typical year look like? What does the organization look like geographically? From a contest standpoint, from a competition standpoint, what events do y'all have statewide? How many chapters do you have? Obviously, it's a lot of chapters, those sorts of things. Can you give us an overview of the state organization? Then I'm sure I'll ask a billion more questions.
So I can outline the main events and activities that we've done throughout the year, and I'll let Maxine explain regions and regional leaders and how we stay connected. But we have a fall forum in November, and that's the first statewide big event of the year. And then regionals, which is usually late January, early February, and state, which is early April normally, but last year things got kind of flip-flopped and we did it late April. And then we try to hype everyone up for nationals as much as we can. So those are our main events, but this past summer we started doing Zoom activities that have been a lot of fun, and we did them 3 times a week over the summer. And then during nationals, we did them every day, and that was definitely the peak when we had people from all different states coming, and it was a lot of fun. And then we've continued periodically throughout the year to try to bring people together while we're still stuck at home. And I've really enjoyed it. I'm really glad that we've been able to start that, and I look forward to continuing it in the new year.
Yeah, Anya touched on regionals. So we have a lot of chapters in Florida. As Mr. Ristroff mentioned earlier, we are the largest JCL. So Florida's split into 8 regions, and for every region, there is a regional leader, which is a high school student, and they are by application over the summer right before nationals. They get announced during state fellowship. And pretty much what regional leaders do is they help the vice president come up with the monthly service projects, and they help communicate that information to any more important information to sponsors in their region. So anything like upcoming competitions, submission contests, service projects, they all communicate that.
Okay, and is that primarily email communication?
Yes.
Okay, so these regional leaders do they count as state officers? Do they attend like executive board meetings, planning meetings, things like that?
They do not, but I have monthly meetings with them to kind of discuss, catch up. Sometimes we do like a little activity. Like they're a really fun group to work with.
Okay. And that's by application, you said. So the board chooses them, or you choose them as VP?
We as a board come together over the summer and look through all the applications and decide.
Okay. So in a typical year, let's say, or rather, if I'm a typical FJCLer and I'm like, I want to be a state officer, is it generally I try to be a regional leader and then I try and run for state office, that kind of thing? Or is it not really a cursus honorum like that?
It depends on the person and what your goals are, what your priorities are in the JCL. I was not a regional leader. I actually applied to be one. I was not chosen, but I had local office and I knew I wanted to get more involved. So that's how I made the decision to run for state office. But I know a lot of people who have become regional leaders and use that as sort of a platform, a jumping off point to becoming a state officer, including Maxine. So
yeah, being a regional leader is not a requirement to be a state officer, but it is a really great way if you're interested in being involved at that level and getting to the officers and getting to do that behind the scenes work of what makes the FJCL run all year long. If FJCLers who are here, if you have any interest at all wanting to work at that level and wanting to help out, I really, really recommend applying to be a regional leader when that application comes out over the summer.
So what are you said typically there's a fall forum and then regional conventions and then state conventions. So can you take me through fall forum to start and then we'll get to the other two?
Yeah, so fall forum is a one-day event, and we usually do it the first Saturday of Thanksgiving break. So people are on break and more likely to be available. And it's normally held in Orlando, which for Florida, which is pretty geographically spread apart, that's about our center point. And that's also where we have state convention in Orlando. So we'll come meet at a high school and take tests, play Kurtamen, do service projects, have tons of Ludi events. And Fall Forum is really fun for the FJCL officers because it is almost entirely officer run, whereas with regionals and state, we have a lot of adult support from our sponsors and chaperones. So Fall Forum is fun because the officers are the ones really heading the events. So it's a lot of work, but I really enjoy Fall Forum for that reason. And yeah, so it's one day in November.
And it's at a high school?
Yeah.
How do they pick which high school?
It's normally at a very large high school in Orlando to accommodate everyone. It's at Winter Springs, but I mean, I guess the location could change. I don't see why not. It just needs to be able to fit everyone.
I just ask because, in Louisiana, we have our fall forum at the state president's high school every year, for example, but y'all are limited to Orlando. So I was wondering, is it always at the same place in Orlando? And it sounds like usually it's at this one school. Okay. Let's see. So wait, I had a question. Oh, and we're talking hundreds of people come to this event?
Yeah, I think normally it's like 300 something. I don't really remember this year because it was online. It was kind of different, but I think normally, if I remember right, about 300.
Gotcha. So before we go into regionals, we've got a couple of questions from the chat. A couple of questions about the Rheem family. Which Rheem brother is your favorite? Which member of the Rheem dynasty is your favorite? I know of 2 Rheems from Florida. I don't know of these others, so answer that as you will.
Maxine, do you want to go first?
Oh, you can, Anya.
Okay. Okay, I can't. Okay, I'm gonna say Ben, just because I know him best, and he has been a very supportive teammate to me through Kurtaman. Actually, I'm gonna change my answer. All my love goes to Ben, but I'm gonna say his mom, Mrs. Rheem. She is the star of the Rheem dynasty. She has helped out so much at FJCL events over the years. I seriously don't know what we would do without her. So yes, Mrs. Rheem is my favorite.
I'm gonna steal Anya's answer. And although all the Rheems are great, I am personally the closest with Ben Rheem. He's always been so nice and so supportive and so sweet to me. At nationals in Miami, he woke up super early to go to the testing center with me like 2 hours before just to help me study for the Roman live test. He's always been just super nice and they're all wonderful. Like, but yeah, just because I'm the closest with Ben.
All right. Could you describe the Rheem family for those of us who aren't from Florida?
Yes. So the Rheems are from Tallahassee, and they're really big in the JCL community, and you can always spot their family at different JCL events, whether they're local, state, or even national. And the 3 Rheem brothers have all passed through the JCL, or are passing through the JCL. So we get to know them and see them all the time since we're also in Florida, but they're pretty well known nationally too.
Okay, thank you. Next question before we go on. What are your favorite contests? Martina Bright asks, you personally. And I'm assuming that's contests to participate in, not contests to run.
I'll go. So Spirit, of course. It is always fun. It's always great. Service, because it's a wonderful way to give back and it's one of the coolest aspects of the JCL. And I'm a big fan of watching Kurtaman. I know that's kind of weird and like, I don't know, I really like watching Kurtaman. It's really cool seeing people play, as I am not a great Kurtaman player. It's always really cool to watch Team Florida every year at nationals and to watch all of my club members play. It's really awesome how fast those kids can buzz. I've helped out with a bunch of the online tournaments, scorekeeping and moderating, and it's really cool to see how fast those kids can buzz and how much stuff they know. It's wow.
How do you feel about virtual Spirit?
I think it opens up like a crazy new world of opportunities where you're not limited to like dressing up in a costume or doing a cheer, because virtual Spirit can take so many different directions. They can be like different activities, making a hype video for your club or playing a game and having like these virtual club parties. I think it's really cool how we can expand that definition of JCL Spirit to mean so much more than just a 10 or 15 minute screaming contest.
I love the screaming contest, so I'm still coming around to virtual Spirit, but I agree with that sentiment in principle. I personally kind of hope that we don't have to, well, I guess in a world where there is only virtual spirit, I feel
Yeah.
like we're missing out.
Yeah.
A combination of traditional spirit and virtual spirit, that may be
Yeah.
wonderful. Okay, last question. Last question. From Mr. Dave Jackson. Well, last question for now. I mean, chat, keep asking questions. Mr. Dave Jackson asks, what is your favorite Florida cheer? Choose your answer wisely. And I'm going to make both of you answer this. I'm not going to make you perform it. I may make you say the lyrics or something, but...
My answer's pretty controversial.
Mine is too, and I'm wondering if we have the same one.
Do you want to go on 3 or something?
What?
I was joking. Do you want to go on 3?
I was gonna say Gigolo,
Ooh.
which I feel like it sounds worse than it is, but I really enjoy it. Actually, if Dr. J is listening, I love seeing Dr. J's dance moves at this little break part. So, yeah, that's probably my favorite.
So
but
how does that one go? I'm unfamiliar.
Wait, I'm blanking on how it starts.
Hey, Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, Florida. Yeah. Are you ready? Yeah. To Gigolo. Yeah. You
Got her.
Hands up high and feet down low, and that's the way we Gigolo. Gigolo. Jig. And then you just repeat that. And
That's not so bad.
after like your hands up high, your feet down low, and that's the way you Gigolo, on the that's the way part, Dr. J always has the best moves because it's a little freestyle section. So I always look forward to that.
Okay. All right. Maxine, you're up.
My favorite is We Got Spirit, which goes, we got spirit. Yeah, we got spirit. Yeah, we got what? It's very fun.
All right. Well, I mean, I know the one we are from Florida, that one. That's the one that I associate with Florida because that's the one I guess I hear the most, but I'll have to pay attention next time we have in-person nationals to hear those. All right, okay. So we were talking about Fall Forum and then we were going to talk about regional convention.
Yeah, I can talk about regionals. So it doesn't happen on the same day in each region. There are just set dates that are sent out, I think early January. I actually don't know, but they're sent out in advance, and the sponsors in each region set up regionals at a specific school, and then all the kids in that region go to the school, take their tests, play Kurtamen, all the normal things happen, but it's just within a smaller JCL group, whereas Fall Forum and State Forum are the whole state together.
Okay, and then at regionals, like the Kurtamen matches that happen at regionals, that's how you qualify for the competition at state, is that right? Or so that they don't have to have the whole tournament at state?
In a way, yes. So the first place teams at regionals are automatically good to go for Kurtamen at state, and then I think beyond that you have to take a placement test.
You do.
Yeah. So otherwise you can always do open Kurtamen, but in order to do competitive Kurtamen, you need to secure a spot essentially.
Gotcha. And are other contests that way too, sort of? Well, no, that doesn't make sense.
Well, for some schools, I know that regional test results are used as qualifiers almost. I know that where I go to school, we'll look at how people did at regionals, and then the local officers will meet and they'll choose the students that they want to invite for state, because we have a specific number of people we can allow as competitive versus non-competitive delegates per each school. So,
really? Okay. Wow. That's so different from Louisiana, where we twist everybody's arm to try and get as many people to go as possible, and we require, at least my school required everyone who went to take every test. And that had mixed results. Okay, so then it now comes time for State Forum, which is sometime you said in April, and how does that go? Where is it? What's it like?
State is at a Wyndham in Orlando. So we're all at a hotel, and it is so much fun. I'm really sad that we couldn't have State last year and probably won't this year, but you come on a Wednesday and then you stay through Saturday, and there are events happening all of Thursday, Friday, and then we end Saturday morning with our closing assembly. So it's like a mini nationals. So we'll have opening assembly where you meet the FJCL officers, and there are some speeches and candidate speeches happen, and then testing happens Friday morning. Kurtaman starts Thursday night. Spirit competition is at that first opening assembly. Services throughout convention. It's pretty spread out, and you can definitely find something to do at all times, which also means it's really easy to exhaust yourself, but it's so fun. And then on Saturday morning, the closing assembly happens and academic results are announced, and the new officers are sworn in. So it's always a really big, fun event.
So you come in on Wednesday evening or Wednesday morning?
There are some schools I know that come in even on Thursday, but
Okay.
my school comes in on Wednesday night. We
Okay.
usually go to Universal or Disney before we come, so.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So all the programming starts on Thursday. So some people take 3 days off of school. Some people take 2.5 or something like that. Some people only 2, maybe. Okay. And that is, I mean, you have your officer corps. Well, we haven't actually talked about them. How many state officers are there?
I don't know the exact number, so I'm going to count them.
Isn't it 8?
I think there are 8.
Yes, true. It's 8.
So president, vice president, parliamentarian, secretary, historian, technology coordinator, corresponding secretary, and treasurer.
And a notable lack of editor.
Yes.
But
Sorry.
go ahead.
We normally will split that apart. That's what we've been doing this year, but other years the VP will also act as editor, adding one more role to their job. But this year I've really tried to make it more of a group effort when we're editing publications.
Okay, and y'all just came out with a new publication according to your Instagram that I was trolling through earlier looking for things to talk about. So can y'all tell us about that?
Yeah, I'm happy to. I feel like I've been talking a lot though, so Maxine, if you want to, you can.
Remember.
So this is really the brainchild of Dakota, our secretary. So it's called Quid Noe, and it's like a literary magazine. So we're going to be opening it up for submissions from anyone, JCLers, SCLers, sponsors, parents, chaperones, anything. And the whole point of it is to be a sort of monthly newsletter to supplement our UY, the UY Witis, which is our quarterly publication, which is a lot more like the Torch, more traditional, like, here's what we've been up to and spotlight on this person kind of thing.
Monthly,
So,
that's ambitious. Good luck.
yeah, I think we're starting it up in January, if I remember correctly.
Okay. And of course, if you need any help getting that off the ground, feel free to email Irene or me about publication stuff. Always happy to talk about that. So at the state forum, it's these 8 state officers, plus this year you'll have Annie helping you out, I'm assuming. And y'all run the show. There are a couple of state chairs. There's a Florida SCL. Is this sounding about right?
Mm-hmm.
And y'all are up there on the stage, and you call the shots and you run the show.
Yeah, so we start planning in September, and we have this big overnight planning meeting. And so that's primarily to plan state, but also to plan fall forum. And then we meet again in March to do our final big planning, which is another overnight planning meeting, and that's all about state. So we'll make sure we have all the speakers assigned for every single part of the assemblies, and my personal favorite part, and Miss R, our board advisor's favorite part, is working on the program. It's awful, but it's a great bonding experience for the two of us. And we'll go through and make sure there are no typos and that we've got all the events laid out and that nothing's conflicting, and formatting that whole thing. So it's a lot to put on, but it's always fun and really gets us excited to have the event.
So it's the president's responsibility to work on the program, huh?
Technically, no, but I did it last year, actually before we knew we would be having a virtual state, because we had our planning meeting early March, so we were still in person. And then Miss R and I spent over 8 hours working on that program. And then a couple weeks later, state was canceled. So we didn't even get to use it. But At least we have it set up for this year, basically, in case it happens.
In Louisiana, the formatting of the state convention program was the editor's responsibility, and it was almost the same year to year because we were at the same hotel, using the same rooms, doing the same things at the same times. So really the main difference was there's a little sidebar on each page that's got a bunch of jokes, and so it's the editor's job to write new jokes every year so they wouldn't get stale. It sounds like what you were putting together was a much larger undertaking than that.
Yeah, our main issue really was that there had never been a consistent program used. So each year, whoever was making the program would use some other computer program. And then you have to do a whole new thing. So last year, Miss R and I were like, nope, we're going to use Google. And so we just made it on Google Docs. And so now it'll be way easier in the future for people to just edit this instead of making a whole new one every time.
That's very kind of you. Ours was just, you'd better install Microsoft Publisher or else you're sunk.
Yeah, exactly. So we were trying to avoid something like that.
Gotcha. Okay, so another question from the chat. Mr. Webb asks, is Adam Mize still the state chair?
Yes.
Okay. And of course, to the chat, if y'all have any other questions, now's a good time to chime in. Anya and Maxine, if you have any questions for the chat, any questions to pose for people to answer, feel free to do that too while I pull up the next thing.
Actually, I have a reminder for the Floridians in the chat. Hey guys, it's me, your vice president, and here to remind you that your December Service Spotlight submissions are due January 1st at midnight Eastern Time. Service Spotlight, now that I've mentioned it, is this cool new submission contest where we showcase what a school has been doing for their service projects each month. So in the past, we've had writing thank you letters to teachers and making Halloween themed coloring pages and stuff for Fall Forum. So all you club VPs or just FJCLers, remind your club VPs, remind your regional leaders, submit to the Service Spotlight. And I'm very excited to see all those submissions.
Grand. Another thing before we go to the next thing, actually, is somebody emailed me quite independently and said, oh, you should do a state spotlight on Florida because they've been doing all this cool Greek stuff. And that person may or may not be the guest of next week's show. So can y'all tell us about the Greek initiative that Florida's been doing?
Yeah, this all started because I was running for recording secretary my sophomore year. And as I was campaigning at state, there was a whole group of students that came up to me and asked what I was going to do to increase Greek representation in the FJCL.
Did those students all happen to go to a singles high school?
I don't actually know. I don't remember, but they at least had been taking Greek or wanted to take Greek. And they said that the community was really tight-knit but small, and they wanted it to be bigger. They wanted Greek to be as big a part of the JCL as Latin.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was just so interesting. I hadn't really heard that before. And at the time I hadn't taken any Greek, so I didn't have that real personal connection to the language. And I just thought it was a nice thing for them to say, but didn't know what to do about it. And then the next year, I was lucky enough to take Greek, totally fell in love with the language, and knew I wanted to do something that would increase representation. And I knew that the fastest way to make that happen wasn't to go through a million meetings and like plan this huge thing, but just take it on my own. So I've been making lesson videos since June, and I'm now on the 11th lesson of 19. And actually I recorded that earlier today, so it'll be up tomorrow. And it's been a really fun journey. I just go through my textbook that I use to learn Greek, and I'll write a script for each one and create a notability lesson, and then screen record with my voice and post it with a practice worksheet. And it's been so fun to hear what people think, and I've been getting emails and questions about what they can do to keep learning Greek and wanting to go beyond the lesson. So it's been very fulfilling for me to get that response and to hear that people really do want to keep learning Greek, and that now this will be out there forever. People can keep learning past when I'm in office. So.
Where is it out there? Where can people look this up?
It is on the FJCL YouTube account. So if you just look up Florida Junior Classical League on YouTube, all the lesson videos will be there. And like I said, the 11th one will be posted tomorrow.
That's fantastic. Thank you for telling us about that. I was looking, like I said, at y'all's Instagram and y'all's website earlier, but I don't think there's a link to the YouTube on the website. Or if there is, I missed it.
No, actually.
Let's see. Okay, there's another question we'll get to after this, but I really do want to get to this next feature, which is, like I said, I was going through the Instagram, and a couple of months ago, somebody posted a "Which FJCL officer are you?" BuzzFeed quiz. And so I want to take that live on the show right now. So let's see. Let's turn this off. Nope. Turn that back on. That's wrong. I'm a professional. There we go. So which FJCL officer are you? While we get other questions in the chat. There it goes. Okay, what is your favorite thing to do outside of the JCL? Let's see. Play soccer, go for a run, play music, read, study or volunteer in Spanish, watch Netflix, musical theater, sleep and play games, or ballet. Read. What are you watching on Netflix right now? Let's see. Actually, I did just rewatch Avatar: The Last Airbender with one of my good friends, so... Airbender, there we go. Was that the second? No, okay. When you want a snack, what do you reach for? Cheeto Puffs, chips and salsa, Cheez-Its, almonds, hot Cheetos every time, chewy granola bars, the fridge door, okay. Ben & Jerry's, chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream, that stuff hits the spot. Pretzels, obviously. So my pick is not on here because my pick is Pop-Tarts. Easy. And if you've ever worked in the conventioneer office, you would know that. And if you ever do work in the conventioneer office, you'll know that, is that Powerade and Pop-Tarts, separately, people, are some of my snacks. Because, okay, it became my responsibility to provide snacks for the ear office. So I was like, well, what do I like? Well, it's going to be late at night, so we should probably get some Powerade for, like, electrolytes. And then also, I like Pop-Tarts. So I show up with a bunch of Pop-Tarts and Powerade, and people are like, Kurt, what on earth? Nobody likes Powerade with Pop-Tarts. Like, Pop-Tarts go with chocolate milk. Separately. Come on. Anyway, I'm going to probably say the Ben & Jerry's. But the Ben & Jerry's The Tonight Dough is my favorite.
Yes, me too.
It's the superior ice cream flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's so good. So I'll say Ben & Jerry's. What is your dream vacation destination? Japan or Spain, Greece, anywhere in Italy, Madrid, Ireland, Poland, Amsterdam, Rome, exclamation mark, because I've never been to Rome. Okay. Oh, good point. Riona Duncan, does anyone have the link so the chat can also take this? Yes, I'll put it in the chat right now. Which officer are you? There you go. What is your favorite event at JCL Fora? Kritaman testing elections, exclamation mark. Both running and spectating are fun. Ludi, Agon, Agora, Spirit, constitutional amendments, meeting, awards. Spirit. Spirit for sure. If the events in Ludi became Olympic sports, what would you win gold for? Water balloon toss, scavenger hunt, cheering on the sideline, Foursquare. I'm like the Michael Phelps of ships and sailors. Chariot racing, Foursquare but using only feet. Is eating considered a Ludi sport? No, okay. Watching from the sidelines is a sport, don't test me. When you're in the SCL, technically all you're doing is watching from the sidelines, but you're reffing, right? So that's what I'm gonna pick. It's watching from the sidelines, and it is a sport. It is strenuous. Let's see. What is your favorite genre of music? Pop, K-pop, whatever I'm in the mood for, blues rock, alternative, rap, a variety, literally just anything, alternative rock. Can I skip this? None of these are right. Because 80s music is not on here. Well, I'll see if it makes me take it. And you know, y'all can of course chime in here if you've got opinions.
I think it does make you choose it.
It does make me choose? Okay. Then I'll say whatever I'm in the mood for, but it's always 80s music. What category do you specialize in the JCL? Publications. Is not on here.
Silent for this question is an option.
What'd you say?
I'm gonna remain silent.
Oh yes, yes, I'm gonna do that because publications is not on here. Okay, Starbucks or Dunkin'. I'm in New Jersey, so I think I'm legally obligated to put Dunkin'. Is a hot dog a sandwich? I refuse to answer questions like this. This is a long... Oh my gosh, we're only halfway through. Okay, I'm going to start going fast. How organized are you? Very organized. Oh! That was the end. Great! I'm Panita. I'm the treasurer.
Yeah, that's great. Panita's great.
Hooray! Yes. Wonderful. That was fun. That was intense. Okay, we've gotten a couple more questions from the chat while all that was going on. Let's see. Kenneth Van Ameren says, as a Texan, I'm surprised to learn that Florida is the biggest JCL. How does going to nationals work for y'all? Y'all take like busloads of people, right?
Yeah, we go separately. Like there are certain schools that'll go together, but you're responsible for getting there. I know that at least the bigger schools will make sure that the school has something in place so we can all go together, but I don't know what smaller schools do actually, but I know, for example, Maxine's and my school have driven together on a bus, and my school flew to Fargo together, so it really depends on where you live.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's school dependent, not necessarily region dependent or anything like that?
No.
Okay. So you all sort of figure out, and then once you're all there, you go to fellowship together and bond. And then, so there's no programming for the whole state outside of nationals? Like y'all don't all go to a theme park or something together beforehand or afterwards?
No, it's very hard to get Florida together because of how spread apart we are.
Gotcha.
I mean, for our spring planning meeting last year, the one that's all about state in March, we had a couple officers who were living in the Panhandle, and spring planning is usually at the president's house, and our president last year lived in Cocoa area, and so they drove like 9 hours, something crazy like that, just to get to the meeting. Wow. So it is really hard to get everyone together for something, so we try to do things in smaller groups or online however much we can.
Gotcha. Well, thank you both so much. This has been very informative. I hope that people in the chat have learned a lot about Florida JCL. Of course, if you have any questions, you can leave a comment down below in the comment section. Always happy to see those. I do read every single comment that people post because it's been like 6 total this year. So it's not hard to make that claim. But, sometimes the comments surprise me, and that's always fun. So feel free to leave a comment if you've got any other questions or thoughts about the video, or you want to tell us about how your state does things. You can do it that. Anya and Maxine, thanks so much. I'm going to ask y'all to, if you could mute yourselves. I'm going to jump over into the other Google Meet to talk to the officers, and I'll be back in about 10 minutes to properly thank you and tell you good night. Okay. So, with that, and a huge thanks to Anya and Maxine. That was lots of fun. Enjoy that BuzzFeed quiz for those of you who are in the middle of taking it. Hopefully next year's Florida officers will all like Pop-Tarts, so the which snack do you like the most question, like the choices will just be the different flavors of Pop-Tart. Maybe they'll just have a question that's the different flavors of Pop-Tarts. For the record, the right answers are wild berry, brown sugar cinnamon, and either blueberry or cherry, depending on how you feel. When I was a kid, they didn't have all these chocolate Pop-Tart flavors. Like nowadays, you can get like fudge sundae, whatever, like ice cream flavors in Pop-Tart. It's bizarre. Anyway, we're gonna bring the national officers on to do their officer reports. Let's see. Here's Vivian, and Vivian, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi.
Awesome. Let's see. Do you know, is Irene here?
I'm not sure. I can message her.
Okay, if you would please. And let me bring you up on the screen. There we go. Hang on. I'm gonna move you up a little bit. There we go. Eric says that's a nice shirt. Thank you. When you're on the national committee, they give you a shirt with your office on it. But if you can always just get a shirt with your office on it if you want. Irene, if you happen to be listening to this, go ahead and rejoin the Google Meet, and we'll bring you back on. But in the meantime, Vivian, do you want to talk? Tell us what you've got for us this week.
So, first of all, submit for a video and photo of the month. I am very excited to judge all your submissions in 2-3 days. It's the end of the year, so it's kind of cool. You can submit anything you want. And then I wanted to share with y'all a cool article I found the other day. It was a new takeout counter found at Pompeii. I'm not sure how new this is, but I saw that the article, like there were a couple articles published on it, and they were all published either today or yesterday. And they were talking about a thermopolium, like a takeout counter or like a hot drinks counter for the ancient Romans. And it was cool to like read about how it works similarly to like our fast foods today. Like people could order out and eat at like a tavern nearby, or they could like go home and eat it. And I just wanted to share this picture with you guys. Can you see the picture?
Yep, we can see it.
Yeah, all these detailed frescoes here. You can see the little rooster there, and I'm not quite sure what the other things are, but they're all amazingly preserved because it's Pompeii. And then there was another one I wanted to show you guys. They have some more pictures. There we go. You can see these really detailed frescoes that are still very well preserved, and I feel like it's just really cool that we're still uncovering things at Pompeii even to this day.
Yeah, I love the colors. That's awesome. Can you throw a link to this article in the chat when you get a chance?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That's cool. And Irene, what have you got for us?
Hi. I basically spent my Christmas break so far on Netflix, as you do, and I found this really interesting series called Blood of Zeus. It's sort of like an anime about Greek mythology, but it's not exactly about a Greek myth. It's kind of like, this is like make your own Greek myth kind of. So essentially what happens is that there's a demigod who's the son of Zeus, and he's trying to fight against these demons. So it's actually rated mature because of blood and gore, and that's probably fascinating. And it's kind of accurate and true to form kind of. The costumes are nice. They're like all the gods are there, like Zeus and Hermes and Apollo and Hera. They all make appearances, although I found like they unnecessarily villainized Hera for some reason. They made her like
Unnecessarily. Hang on now. Have you read the Aeneid yet?
Yeah, but like she did, well, maybe unnecessary is the wrong word, but like, a bit too much. That's what I thought. But yeah, it's pretty interesting, engaging. It is, again, rated mature because of the blood and gore, but interesting to watch. So yeah.
Awesome. How long is it? How many episodes? How long are the episodes?
The episodes are about in like half an hour, and there are 10 of them. There's only one season, and the second season just got approved. So
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, if you are if you're 17 or older and you have your parents' permission or whatever, talk to your parents before watching Blood of Zeus on Netflix. But if you're under 18, but go ahead and check that out if you're interested. That sounds cool, Irene. Thank you for sharing. And you've finished season 1 so far?
I've watched like half of the episodes, so.
Okay, so you've got another 5 or 6 to go. That's cool. That'll keep you busy for another few days, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks so much to both of you. Good to hear from you. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas and everything else. And we'll see you next time, I guess. Was there something? Am I supposed to send the officers an email? Is there? No. I think we're good, right? I don't owe y'all anything at this point. No, everything's good. I was thinking of something else. Anyway, thanks very much to the officers for coming on and doing the officer reports, and we'll see y'all in about a month each. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay. That's our show, everybody. Thanks very, very much for watching. As always, please remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment on the video to let us know what you think if you have anything to say. Particularly, don't forget about those deadlines that we talked about earlier in the video, the Club of the Month, Photo of the Month, Video of the Month, and the JCL tabletop game. We need volunteers to play that, so go ahead and sign up for that using the link in the description below. Submit a memory to the JCL memory book project if you haven't done that already. All these sorts of things that y'all can do to be engaged and participate. I hope everybody had a very nice holiday, a very Merry Christmas. I know some people are maybe going to be back to school by this time next week, so we'll see you next week again for a Greek stream with Dr. Generosa Sanko-Jackson, who will be talking all about Greek and her experiences with it. That'll be a lot of fun. The Kurtaman Tonight show will be next week as well, so as always, there's going to be JCL content in your life, so be sure to tell your friends, tune back in, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.